Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like somebody's playing basically the same deck that I'm playing in Standard right now, Mono Black Aetherborn. The other side appears to be running Saheeli Copycat, so it's a good demonstration of what this Mono Black deck can do, considering Copycat is currently, I think, number 2 compared to Mardu aggro, but only by like 1 or 2%. Lately, Golgari aggro has taken a huge hit in popularity, and Mardu has gobbled it up. Mardu is, easily number 1 right now. Saheeli Copycat's very close behind, but, we're talking tier 1 here versus, a very cheap deck. I mean, I was able to get mine all together for, I think, 15, maybe 20 tickets online. I don't have Westvale Abbey because I don't really see the point. I mean, it's a great backup plan, but at the same time, unless you get your animation module and metalwork, what is it? Clone? What is that guy called? I can't remember. He's the 2/1 where you pick a creature type, and then if a creature of that type comes into play, it comes in with an extra +1/+1 counter on it. But you know that combo, so you're making a whole bunch of servos so that you can feed them to Westvale Abbey and get your giant demon. But so far, not a whole lot has happened, actually. He's got 2 gifted Aetherborns. He's got Gonti. He Grasp of Darkness on the Rogue Refiner. He's firing Murder off on Whirler Virtuoso. He's responding by burning some energy to make some Thopter tokens. And he attacked earlier and killed off Saheeli, which was a pretty good trade. And going all in here, unfortunately, it is 6 total damage, but, when you're attacking with 3 creatures and each one of them are power 2, at this stage, when your opponent's still at 20, it's really not that big a deal. Another Saheeli. Scry 1 damage to each opponent. But that 6 damage is a good base to build off of here. Harness Lightning to kill off one of the gifted Aetherborn. And he's minimized the field so that his opponent only currently has 2 creatures. He's got 2 blockers, so he can keep Saheeli alive. Pretty much guaranteed. And this is the point in the game that I always end up in with this deck where you're pretty much out of gas. He's got 1 card in hand. The board, it isn't bad, but, how are you going to pump up your momentum here? He can, if you attack in all in, he can just chump block both of them if he feels like it. He'll still have Saheeli and be able to use her, and all he has to do is get the cat, and it's game over. So, the pressure for Mono Black is right here, right now, is that 1 card in your hand has to be amazing, every turn, because all it's going to take is 1 turn for the Copycat deck to win. Walking Ballista for 3. Alright, so that'll be able to pick off the Thopter tokens, and he won't be able to do anything about it. He's going to lose Saheeli again. Alright, so going in on Saheeli, because obviously he knows how his opponent's deck works. When you see Saheeli, well, it's typically the same thing for any planeswalker, but when your opponent is playing Saheeli Copycat, Saheeli is a key card in their combination. So being able to kill those off as quickly as possible is paramount. Another Oath of Nissa. But something that the Saheeli Copycat deck does have as an advantage right now is the fact that they have multiple colors to pull from. He's lower on cards, but he's still got more cards than black, and blue will let him draw cards. There are red cards that'll allow you to draw cards. Green will let you filter out lands, so you're most likely not drawing lands. And then, since you're running Aether Hub, you can effectively use any color, but at the same time, you're typically not going to be running too many off-color cards. Shock. So Rogue Refiner into Shock to kill off the Walking Ballista, which pops him for 1, but more importantly, the Ballista's gone, so no more pinging off of his, 1 toughness creatures, or, the possibility that, he'll draw land and have 8 mana and be able to put 2 counters on Walking Ballista in a turn. Ooh, to the slaughter. He does not have Delirium, but at the moment it really doesn't matter. Kills off the creature. Oh, I see what it was. The Walking Ballista was the card that he got from Gonti. So, in for 4. Saheeli will be down to 9. But again, 2 2-power creatures, that means that if you don't get anything more than these creatures, he's still got 3 turns to try and stop you. And there's the cat. And he's going to bounce Oath of Nissa. Or Blink, Oath of Nissa. And theoretically, he could pull Saheeli right here off of Oath of Nissa. The only problem is he couldn't play it this turn. He'd have to play it next turn, which would mean that he would have a chance. Nope, Rogue Refiner. But, the cat has to stay alive. And it's in a pretty good position stat-wise to avoid being killed. I mean, Grasp will still kill it. Murder and will straight kill it because it's a straight kill card. To the Slaughter at the moment will kill it. It's an instant. Murder's an instant, and Grasp is an instant. So, he makes a Cleric token, and attacks in for 4. Both of his creatures have Death Touch, so he's just going to take the 4 and go down to 5. That way, in case he does have Saheeli, he's not losing the cat and then playing Saheeli. Whirler Virtuoso. 0 cards in hand for the Aetherborn side. But you can see, this deck isn't bad. It's just, compared to other decks, it takes too long to do what you need it to do. We're at turn 9, soon to be 10 for the mono black deck, and he still only got him at 5, and this guy has not gained life. That is one of the problems that I have with my mono black deck, is just punching power. You don't really have a lot of it, you have a bunch of 2-power creatures typically, and 1/1s or 2/2s if you have the combo out. And while going wide is a valid strategy, the biggest problem is, even if you get through, if you get through with one creature, say it's a 2/2 servo token, you get through for 2 damage here. And then next turn you might be able to do the same thing, and the same thing the next turn, and you might be able to bump it up the turn after that, but you're just picking at them slowly. And in Standard right now, slowly really isn't the greatest. Ooh, Oath of Chandra, 3 damage to target creature, so he's gonna get rid of the Gifted Aetherborn. If it weren't for the fact that, Mardu aggro, Golgari aggro, and Saheeli Copycat can win games very fast, very fast, compared to Mono Black, the Black deck would be very good. I mean, it is good, it's just not very good. It's just too slow. And Chandra, and he concedes. And I don't blame him, he's out of cards, he's basically been down to making cleric tokens, and, his opponent is building his board, whereas he's stuck top decking and hoping that he gets something. And unfortunately, that's typically what happens when I run into a tier 1. I might be able to win 1 game out of 3, but I don't win the match. And, I might be able to drag it out for 10 or 12 or even 15 turns, but the end always ends up the same. And, there's really nothing you can do about it. I really like my deck, it's cheap and it's fun to play, and, I like it, but, that's just why it's not in the standings at all. It's not good enough. So, unfortunately, critique of, basically my deck is over. He lost that game, and that's what happens in my experience. So, I've babbled on for far too long, so I'm going to end it here. That was Mono Black Aggro versus Saheeli Copycat. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I will see you in the next video.